We begin with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's name. We praise Him and glorify Him as He ought to be praised and glorified. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send salam and salawat to our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to his beloved family, to his companions, to the tabi'in, tabi'in, to the ulama, awliya, shuhada, salihin, to those who ever followed this path to the end of time. Let us begin with this dua. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma arina al-haqqa haqqan warzuqna ittiba'ah wa arina al-batila batilan warzuqna ijtinabah wa la taj'alhu multabisan alayna fanudil waj'alna lil-muttaqina imama. O Allah, allow us to see the truth as truth and grant us the strength to follow and abide by it. And allow us to see falsehood as falsehood and grant us the strength to remain away from it. And do not make it confusing for us, lest we go astray and make us a leader among the Muslims. Ameen ya Rabbal Alamin. In the year 1839, a grave and blatant act of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a public display of the abandonment of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was committed in the heart of the Muslim Khilafah in 1839. Can I have the first slide? That was when the Tanzimat, or the reform towards westernization, was initiated by the Ottoman Empire. This is the first crack in the Ummah, where the education system was separated into two: secular education, dunyawi secular education, and ukhrawi. This is the first crack. This is in line with what the Prophet ﷺ said, that the first crack that happened to the Ummah is al-wahan. We love dunya and we fear death. And then comes the Tanzimat. These acts of policy changes that happens in the Khilafah, which moves towards westernization, looking at the West as the Qibla. Point number 4. All the Islamically ordained pattern of taxation in the Sharia was abolished, including the jizya. And then, in 1840, paper money was introduced for the first time among the Muslims. It was called Kaymiyya Mu'tabar, or in Arabic, Al-Qimah Al-Mu'tabarah, which means wang ini sah diperlakukan dengan nilai. Okay? And then, 1856, the first Ottoman bank. One of the culprits to introduce the banks in the Muslim Khilafah is Atatürk himself. The moment he came into power, 4 banks he established. 4 banks. Okay, and the lira went into chronic and hyperinflation in just, 30, 40 years? Chronic inflation. Okay. 1867, it allows foreigners to own real estate in the Dawla. We are repeating the same mistakes everywhere around the Muslim world. Everywhere around the Muslim world. In 1869, the Nizamiya court system was set up to do so-called secular justice. And then Sultan Abdul Aziz was assassinated. He is the one who is responsible partly. We are not blaming, we do not want to play blame game, but this is facts. Written by Ottoman scholars themselves, Turkish scholars themselves. So, after they used you, what do you do with it? They depose you. Sounds familiar, isn't it? If we Muslims today look at that order of events, taking into account all that has been outlined here, we cannot fail to recognize that the kuffar destroy their enemies with the language of reform, modernization, and rationality. It is also clear that everything they claim to do to the benefit of mankind leads to the opposite. So do not be caught up with slogans, change, reform, rationality, modernization. It all started with these slogans. This is what history told us. Is fiat money a sign of progress? Or have we fallen into the same trap? Because the moment you speak about commodity-based money, for example, like gold, silver, rice, or whatever, people will say, why do you want to go backwards. Fiat is progress. Fiat is, Masya Allah, science. Fiat is electronic bytes in the computer. It must be progressive, isn't it? Gold and silver is regressive. But I wonder, how come our zakat, our nisab zakat is pegged to gold and silver? That means gold and silver will be protected by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala till the end of time. Because it does not make sense. Something serious like hyperinflation or chronic inflation will happen to gold. Suddenly it loses value. It will never happen because our zakat is pegged to it. Okay? So, is it a sign of progress? Okay. Or have we fallen to the same side? Revisiting the philosophy of progress. Okay, I would want to speak a little bit on philosophy in the beginning because my background is on philosophy actually. Okay, Islam is not anti-development. It says the deadlines and limits of change and growth. When the limit is breached unrepentantly, destruction is inevitable. This is due to the fact that Shari'atullah is connected to Sunnatullah. Haram and harm are inseparable. Okay, haram and harm. But sometimes you meet Islamic bankers, they will tell you this. You know what? The difference between a halal chicken and a haram chicken is just saying Allah's name. It's just saying Allah's name. Just saying Allah's name. Can you imagine? Allahu Akbar and not saying Allahu Akbar. No, the repercussion is not the same. Because for those who learn about Islamic spirituality, you will know that ayam sembelihan tak sebut nama Allah boleh dibuat untuk sihir. That's where you kill the jinn. Right? But if you mention Allah Subhanahu name, it's clear inshallah. So there are repercussions. It's not just Allah's name. The difference is just formal ustaz, they will tell you that. It's not formal, it's substantial. Okay. In Islam, form and substance is inseparable. We do not play this game of substance more important than form or form more important than substance. They are one. They are one. Among the red lines are riba, gambling, inculturation of debt, concentration of wealth, destruction of nature, etc. Any technology that breaches these red lines must be relabeled as a regressive form of technology, and we should not be fooled by its outwardly unprimitive and high-tech appearance. I like this cartoon, one of my favorites. I got this from Facebook. I should reference here Facebook. Don't do that, okay, is this progress? Now, the purpose of that person is to get shit. Don't forget that purpose. The purpose is to be shaded. Third, someone comes and says, I changed the pokok for you to become a nicer shelter. You see perpendicular lines, smooth surfaces, tak ada grits. But you have to pay. And what happens after that? When the birds come to eat from the fruits, will there be fruits still? No. Is this progress? I ask you, may I ask you, is this progress? Remember the original purpose. We can already fulfill our purpose by doing that. Nature has provided us enough. But no, as human beings, we want something else. We want something else. It is always the move away from natural lifestyle to what we call so-called a town lifestyle or city lifestyle. If you look at the Quran, those people who always reminded the other people to follow the prophets of before are those who come from the Aqsal Madinati Yasar, never come from the cities. Why? Mean Aqsal Madinati Yasar. Are you familiar with that word? What is Aqsal Madinah? They don't live in the middle of the city because there's a corrupting element in the city. Okay. And people who live outside the city, they live like the person. This is a regressive person to me. Regressive. This is progressive. It fulfills what you actually need as a human being. Right. Okay. This one, I don't think I need to go too much. Whoever asks people for money when he has what is sufficient for him is only asking for more of the embers of hell. If you have enough to live, don't ask for more. No. We want to be like the West. The West have MRT. We want MRT also. The MRT is faster. We want that. They have banks. We want banks too. They are high-tech. We want to be high-tech like them too. They went to the lizard hole. We also want to go to the lizard hole. Whoever asks the people for money when he has what is sufficient for him will come on the day of judgment with scratches and lacerations on his face. Interesting, this dua we read all the time. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ غَلَبَةِ الدَّيْنِ وَقَهْرِ الرِّجَالِ. And I seek refuge by you from being overpowered by debt and from the coercion of man. These two is paired together. غَلَبَةِ الدَّيْنِ and قَهْرِ الرِّجَالِ. When you are overpowered by debt, you become enslaved automatically. So this is modern day slavery. Okay? So be careful. Together. This is the overview of my presentation. How long do I have? Another hour, alhamdulillah. Oh, my time is looking at inflation. Huh? 20 minutes. Okay, alhamdulillah. Fiat is not qualified to be money from the point of view of the traditional farmer's house. I want to speak from the traditional Islam. Before the fall of the Caliphate, before we were corrupted, we have to make that tawbah. Are we willing enough to make that tawbah? To come back. I'm not asking us to come back to, riding camels and all these things. Okay? That is for another subject. Okay? You may be confused. So what do you mean? Just now we speak about coming back to village and now you say not riding camels. We can speak about that in another session. Okay? Now, fiat poses serious problems to the pillar of zakah. This is. Fiat currency poses serious problems to the pillar of zakah. Number 3. The modernist abandonment of the methodology of the four mazhab have caused the ummah to accept fiat in banking, thus suffering the consequences that we are in now. Fiat currency is the worst single manifestation of riba today, as it contains both category of riba al-fadl and riba al-nasi'ah. Dhatiyan. Do you have any alim here, any asatizas, anyone who learned traditional fiqh? No one. So no one can check on me. One says is good, one says is bad. May Allah protect us from the grave mistakes. Sorry for the slides, because I converted to PowerPoint from Keynote. Fiat does not qualify to be money in the formal sense. Money is a means of exchange, measure of value, as well as a store of value. No, this is a well-known general description. First, means of exchange, measure of value, and store of value. A measure that always loses its value and can never be called a measure. Okay? Like what I think Prof. Kamil said just now. Today you are 2 meters, next day 1.8. Let's imagine 1 meter changes every day. The unit of measure changes every day. 1 kilometer also changes every day. So you cannot call it a unit of measure anymore. Okay? Fiat is nothing represented as something. This is why fiat money and chronic inflation are not separable. Both are the result of each other. Nothingness will only return to nothingness, and history is a witness to this. What's the difference between chronic inflation and hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is in a very short while, you lose maybe 90%, 95% of the value. But chronic comes back, tapi it continues on. All fiat currency in the world is going through chronic inflation. All, including Singapore currency, where I'm from. Now, this is from Ibn al-Qayyim. Okay, very interesting quote. Money must relatively, this is my addition, have a determined and specific purchasing power, value purchasing power. The value must not rise nor fall, because if the value of money rises and falls, like other commodities, we will not have a measure to measure. Basically what I just explained just now. So our ulama know about this. Okay. It's not that they do not know. The verse quoted by Dr. just now. Okay. وَأَوْفُوا الْكَيْلَ وَالْمِيزَانَ وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُم. This word al-bakhs must be included in the terminology of economics. Al-bakhs is a more appropriate word for inflation than tadakhum. The secular Arabs, they translate as tadakhum. But Allah has put the term. The term is al-bakhs. When you open the tafsir, what does al-bakhs means? At-tanqis, mutlaq at-tanqis. Any form of diminishing the value of someone's wealth is al-bakhs. And then interestingly, he paired it with what statement? And do not do mischief on earth. Meaning, if you reduce the value of money, that is mischief. Inflation is not natural. Unless it is natural inflation. That's two different things. You go to war, suddenly you find a mine of gold. Okay, that is natural inflation. But they are talking about artificial inflation. Artificially created by man. By the hands of man. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. Corruption exists on earth and on the sea because of what the hands of men do. What comes after that? So that they may taste some of what they eat. Okay? That is Allah's love for us. Okay. The four mazhab is the main role of money. I quote from all the four mazhab. This is from Ash-Shafi'i. By Shirazi in his book Al-Muhadhab. Okay? Because gold and silver are the foundation measure of value of everything, bought and sold. With them, the value of wealth and profits are known. Okay? Almost there's a consensus, the ijma' among them. And then Al-Maqrizi, this is a very interesting event that happened at Al-Maqrizi during the Mamluk period. Something happened to the sultans, the khalifas. They forgot Allah for a while. So what they did was they removed gold and silver from circulation. Instead, they distribute copper coins. Immediately what happened? Hyperinflation. Until to the level, the prices of things, basic commodities, naik melampau sangat, people have to resort to eating dogs. This is what happened in Egypt at that time. So, Al-Maqrizi was very angry. I'm sorry, I don't have the time to put the translation. So let me just give a brief translation. Allah have not created fulus means copper coins. Okay, copper coins. To be used as money. In times immemorial or now. Hatta rajat fi ayyam Nasir bin Faraj. Until Nasir bin Faraj brought it into circulation. Wa kana qabih as-sira. He is very bad person. Waqad hadatha min rawaj al-fulus kharab al-iqlim. And because of that, the Egyptian region, the Egyptian country went into destruction. Economic destruction. Fa inna al-fiddah hiya naqd syar'i. Silver is, you see the term that they use, naqd syar'i. The Sharia money. So it connects with Islam automatically. It's not something that it's a tool, only a tool. You can use any tool. No, it is connected to the Sharia because zakat is pegged to it. Don't forget, our zakat is pegged to it, and that will never change until Qiyamah. Okay. Amal fulus, fahiya ashbah shay. Copper is like nothing, says. And then this is not that important. He said the use of copper coins is only to buy things that are small, like you want to buy tea, you want to buy prata, you can use copper coins. But for real transaction, like you want to buy chicken, you want to buy sheep, use gold and silver. This is what he said. Okay? Al-Maqrizi died 1441. It was like 500 plus years ago. And then, this is from the Hanafi Mazhab, from Sarakhsi or Sarkhasi, in his Al-Maqsud. Same. Everything is measured by it. Wealth is measured by the two. They are not desired for themselves, but they are the measure of the value of things. And then we have the Hanbali Mazhab, the Alim, Ibn Taymiyyah. What is desire of money is that it becomes the measure of the value of things. Though the value of things, the value of things are known. So basically they are talking about the definition of money. Must be measure of value, store of value, and means of exchange. Okay? This is from the Maliki Mazhab. Okay, same thing. Like Ibn al-Arabi and Ibn al-Qasim in his Al-Mudawwana. Al-Mudawwana al-Kubra. Okay. So the scholars were not unaware. Now, this Sheikh is interesting. Sheikh Abdul Hamid Sharwani. When 1882, when paper money was just introduced to the Muslim world, he's a Shafi'i alim. He lives in Mecca. Okay. Transacting with this paper is invalid. There is no zakat on it. Now, this happens at that time. I'm not promoting you should not pay zakat of the government. Okay? What I'm promoting is you must pay zakat from your paper money, but you have to pay with gold and silver. That is my opinion. Okay, on this matter. But Imam Shawani on that time said no, you don't have to pay zakat even. Among the requirements of a means of exchange and the items exchange is that it must have intrinsic value and benefit that is accepted by the Sharia. Now, this is a very controversial statement. Intrinsic value. People ask all the time, what does intrinsic value mean? To me, the Quran has explained what intrinsic value means. In which ayah? Surah Al-Imran verse 40. زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ وَالْبَنِينَ وَالْقَنَاطِيرِ الْمُقَنطَرَةِ مِنَ الذَّهَبِ وَالْفِضَّةِ. What is intrinsic value? Things that are desired naturally. The desire is planted in the hearts of man. Did anyone come to your mother and ask her to love gold? No, mak dia sayang gold, dia suka gold, gold ni cantik. No, you don't need to do that. It is built in naturally in the heart of man and women. That is intrinsic value. It is not imposed externally, like legal tender. The government must come to you and say, this has value, then you say, okay, it has value. But the love for gold and silver is natural. That is intrinsic value. Not necessarily the use of gold and silver. You cannot eat gold. You cannot eat houses, you can, of course. Okay? You cannot use gold and silver to be cutlery. It's haram. But love for it is built in. Okay, built in. See, for its value only comes from the imposition of the government. For when the Sultan revokes it, nobody will use it as money, nor can it be exchanged for money. What happened to banana currency? Yeah, exactly what Muslim wanted. Now, these are the names of the ulama who say that you shouldn't pay zakat if you money. On that time, again, I repeat again, on that time. Because they understood the nature of paper money. And we have our alim, ulama from Nusantara also. Do you know that our pondok books spoke about it? Because they understood the nature of paper money. It's not that they do not know, but no one listens to them. That is the problem. You know why? Because on that time, people are too eager to progress. Let's follow the West. Come on, ulama pondok, let's throw them behind. They're speaking from the point of view of mazhab, you know, you are regressive. Regressive. But nobody understood. They understood very well. They even give warning. Don't fall into this trap. But no, who cares, isn't it? We want progress, we want modernization, we want reform. That's where we have arrived now. Syekh Muhammad Arsyad Al-Ganjari, Syekh Ahmad Khatib, Syekh Wan Ahmad Bernard Fattani, Syekh Ahmad Abdullah Sahib, Mufti of Pulau Pinang. Okay? Well known, alim in the Malay world. You can give this from the book Sulam al-Sibyan and Samsul Ishraq and I'anatul, I forgot the other one. Now, that was a serious problem to zakat. Why? I have 50 slides actually to compress it in 30 minutes. Zakat is a tawqifi from al-ibadah. What is tawqifi? Tawqifi exactly like salat. Every single movement that we do in our salat comes from Allah and the Prophet. No one adds anything to it. No one minus, no one modify, no one edits, correct? Can you go to Hajj and lontar jamrah dengan selipar? You can do that. You can do that. Because Allah has put it like that. So like zakat. How come we pay zakat if people money? When Allah and Rasul say, boleh cakap. Whenever I speak, I will speak with spirited side. So some people will be overwhelmed. Some people will say, why is this so emotional? No. To me, as a human being, you have to be whole. Okay, you have to be whole. Now, but we have changed the means of paying zakat to gold and silver. And then we use this fraudulent fiat to pay our zakat. How much humiliation must we go through? We are paying our zakat with a fraud, with a fraudulent, with a revoked promise. We will speak about the flow of history of paper money later, in a different perspective. It is a consensus among the four mazhabs that zakat must be paid in ayn. Ayn is tangible reality. It cannot be paid with dain. It cannot be paid with promissory notes. I pay zakat to you now, but the money will come in next month. Your zakat belum jatuh lagi. Tak boleh bayar dengan hutang. Ustaz, paper money tu dia nak hutang ke Ustaz? Ask the professors here. Most of the money that we have in our pocket come from credit creation, isn't it? It's someone else's debt. Gitu, bukan dia debt, someone else's debt. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. If something happens, if big scale default happen in the country, we are all affected. Yang tak ada hutang pun affected. Sorry, I need to speak. Okay. Now, this is an example from Singapore, from my own country. The fiat nisab of zakat in Singapore in 2008 was around 2,500. In 2013, it jumped to 6,500. Nisab zakat. What do we need? In just 5 years, a person who had that 2,500 in his bank account can fall from being a zakat contributor to a non-contributor without even the slightest change to the digits in his bank account. Don't even touch his money, suddenly, in 5 years' time, he doesn't have to pay zakat anymore. That is depriving the poor from their haq, from your rights. What's it? Sekarang turun balik. The nisab of zakat is paid to gold and silver. Was it just a mere coincidence to the Arabian context? Some people will like to say, that is the concept of Rasul. You cannot bring it here. It's interesting that all of the prophets have never sparked industrial revolution. If that is what is needed by the humankind, I believe one of the prophets might have sparked industrial revolution. But none of them do it. Why? They are promoting natural lifestyle. Now, look at this. Prophet Emeritus Rio Jaston. of the University of California concluded in his study that despite the often substantial fluctuations in price, gold has held its purchasing power over the centuries. Okay? Dia punya study 500 years, from 1560 to 2007. This is what I see. How will it not, when Allah have patterned this out of the gold and silver? Is it not absurd to equate the change in price of gold to the roller coaster fluctuations of value in fiat? Some people like to equate these two. You cannot equate the fluctuations in price of paper money and gold. It's incomparable. One is artificially created, the other is natural. This is, I believe, many of the speakers have spoken about. You can still do it today, in Malaysia. Yeah? Despite the claims that gold is inefficient, insufficient, inconvenient, it still maintains its main essence as money, which is a store value. Whatever what people say about gold, it maintains its original purpose, which is to store. Dia taat to gold. Even though we hate it, even though we curse it and accuse it, but it is an obedient commodity. It's still store value. Whereas, what is the benefit in fiat being so-called efficient, sufficient and convenient, while failing miserably in fulfilling its main purpose? It's a measure of value. Foundation, kita nak masuk konten. Only hadith on riba. Okay, this hadith is, to most people, is a problem to understand. When I was in Madrasah Al-Islamiyah, I myself confess I didn't understand what do Rasulullah mean? The Prophet ﷺ forbade us from selling gold for gold, silver for silver, wheat for wheat, dates for dates, unless it was like for like and hand to hand. So put in mind these two conditions. This is the basics of the basics. To got all these basics, inshallah you understand what currency means from the perspective of the faith. And he permitted us to sell gold for silver and silver for gold, and wheat for barley and barley for wheat, hand to hand, however we wanted it. Now people ask, why will people buy gold for gold, wheat for wheat? It doesn't make sense. Makes sense, isn't it? What's the need for that? Okay, I will explain it. Same, the content is nearly the same. And then this interesting thing about dates. Okay, let me just skip this one. And then, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Okay, this is, I believe not many people know about this. This happened in the time of Zaid bin Sabit, Sahaba of Rasulullah. He went on the market and he saw them trading with receipts instead of currency. So he got angry and he met Marwan at that time, the Khalifah. He said, Marwan, why did you allow this riba? Marwan was shocked, saying, what riba are you talking about? What riba are you talking about? So Zaid bin Sabit said, these people that you circulate amongst yourself before redeeming the item. You know, when I did this first time, I scratched my head also. I don't know, what does it mean? Because it's connected to riba nasa, riba in delay. Any artificial delay that we induce in a transaction can be considered as riba nasa. Okay? We'll spend more later. I don't know when that later will be. Maybe next month or something. Okay. If someone asks you to wait for payment until he has been to his house, do not leave him. I fear ramak for you, and ramak is riba. Okay. Any artificial delay. I want to buy your handphone now. Now, see the word. I want to buy your handphone now, but I will give you the money 1 month from now. But I should have your money in your pocket now. For no reason, you start using that lambat-lambat. You want to delay payment. That is riba nasa. But if there is a real purpose behind the delay, then it's allowed. No reason you delay payment, that's riba nasa already. Okay? But you can do that with camels. You can exchange 1 camel with 10 camels, or 10 camels, 20 camels. How come? Gold and silver, gold, silver, you cannot do that. But camels and camels, you can. 1 camel to 10 camels, 3 camels to 20 camels. It's allowed. Why? In the first 2 hadiths, the Prophet was actually talking about the commonly accepted means of exchange of monies, which may include food items. He was drawing the riba red lines of currency usage. The riba red lines of currency usage. Okay? I will explain more about it later. It is a consensus among the four mazhab that there are 2 kinds of riba. Consensus. No difference of opinion. One is riba al-fadl, unjustified increase, and number 2, riba nasa, unjustified delay. Okay? Remember what Rasul said? Equal for equal and hand to hand. Okay, that's where the two conditions come from. Both of them unjustified increase, disparity. Okay? Riba nasa, unjustified delay. Scholars of the Shafi'i and Hanafi mazhab put riba from debt under riba al-fadl. This is where the modernists got confused. If you were to refer to books written, mostly, not all, written after the fall of the Caliphate, you will be confused with the definition. You will be confused with the definition of riba. Okay? Why is that so? Because they will put interest under riba nasi'ah. Under riba an-nasi'ah. Whereas, what is haram about interest? Is it the delay in payment or is it the increase? Let me ask you. What is haram in interest? Is it the delay or the increase? What does increase mean in Arabic? Fadl. So you should be classified under fadl. What is haram is the increase, not the delay. You see? Therefore, there is no difference between riba of the Quran and riba of the Sunnah. Some people like to make this categorization. Riba of Quran is interest only. And not all interest, compounded interest. Small interest halal. Small interest halal. Yes, there are people who say that. Big so-called what is this called? I do not mince my words. If you disagree with me, we can meet after this, inshallah. This is about knowledge. If I am wrong, please correct me, show me the facts. Okay? Bismillah. And then, from that hadith, where Rasul says, gold for gold, silver for silver, we can take up or derive four cardinal foundational transactions. Okay? Number one is muratala. Muratala means you exchange something of the same genus. Gold with gold, silver with silver. And then we find that, which is exchanging an item of the same genus with delay. You give me 100,000, I have to give you back 100,000. But with the delay. That is what we call as debt. Okay? If I give you 100,000 loan, and then I ask you to return it now, that is not a loan. There must be delay in the loan. But increase sales. Okay? And then you have ijara, rent, which is a combination of debt and sales. Okay? The four foundational financial transactions and their respective riba. Okay. Now, this is the key to understand. If you want to understand the hadith, you have to look at the term buy. The word buy used in that hadith is generic. It does not only mean sales in that hadith. Okay? It includes all of the four transactions that we listed just now. Please hold that in mind. Okay? And then go home, read again that hadith, inshallah things will be clear for you. But if you restrict it to the meaning of sales, al-bay' with sales, then you don't understand. Why? Who will sell gold for gold? No? That is not even sales. Sales is we must have profit. But Rasul say cannot. You have to change gold for gold, equal for equal. How come he call it sales? See? Now, this is the confusion of the modernists. Look, he confessed that he does not understand the hadith. The four mazhab understood the hadith. But because he left the four mazhabs, because to him the four mazhab is regressive. That is the problem. I will call for him later. He don't understand why must someone sell gold for gold. Okay. He is the one who classified to riba Quran, riba Sunnah, and all this. The four foundational financial transactions and their respective riba. Very fast. Okay. Exchange, debt, sales, and rent. In an exchange, the genus exchange are two items of the same genus. Kataan jenis bahasa Melayu itu datang dari kataan genus, active. No? And then, in exchange, for non-money, like camel with camel, there can be disparity. There can be increase. One camel with 10 camel. But, for money, which includes food items that can be used as money, in the hadith that Rasulullah mentioned just now, there cannot be increase. The moment you say you want to exchange, that may increase. Bila you tak increase, that is riba al-fadl. And then, can there be delay in exchange? You say, I want to exchange now, but I give you tomorrow. For no reason. I just want to use it first. Tomorrow I give you. But your word says now. The corruption happens in the level of words first. That is why Imam Al-Ghazali wrote his book, Ihya Ulumuddin. One of the first chapters is about corruption of words. You say one thing, but you mean something else. Corruption of words, confusion of words. And then what is that? Exchange, the same thing. Disparity, can there be disparity? Haram. When there is disparity, that's what we call interest. And then, can there be delay? Of course, in a debt transaction, there must be delay. Okay. In sales, you're exchanging two things of different genus. You're exchanging this flower with handphone. That is sales. Okay. Profit allowed, of course. If not, it's not sales. What about delay? Actually, originally, in sales transaction, delay is not allowed. But there are exceptions for bike salam and istisna. It is considered as an exception by the ulama. Okay? And then, in rent, you are exchanging things of the same genus with an addition. You rent the house, you have to depart the house with payment. Okay? That's what rent means. We have to be very clear of the definition. See what he said. There is nothing in our religion which is incompatible with the current civilization. Especially this aspect regarded as useful as civilized nations, except with regard to a few questions of usury. And I am ready to sanction everything that the experience of the Europeans before us shows to be needed for the progress of the state in terms of the true Islam. But I will not confine myself to a school of law, only to the Quran and the authentic hadith. This is where the break happens. You want to revise, you want to claim that the ulama have got it wrong after 1,300 years. And you can come back to the Quran and Sunnah and say, I can understand better. This is where the break happens. This is where the break happens. This is what he classifies. Riba Quran, riba Sunnah. Confined to compounded interest. Small interest is halal. I have proof for his statement. Okay? And the riba of the Sunnah, to him is only makruh. Riba of the Sunnah is when there is disparity in gold for gold, silver for silver. Okay. I don't have time to explain more about this. Let me just read. So these are the facts. And then, through this recategorization, small interest becomes halal and riba and paper money, which is creation of value of nothing. Al-Fadl and credit money was not seen as a riba. The moment there's a break in understanding, the repercussion is very bad. The ummah cannot see riba anymore. When we ask what is riba, most people will say riba is only interest, right? Riba is only interest. That is one of the gravest mistakes done by some of the so-called scholars of before. So-called. Now, riba in fiat. Where is riba in fiat? Fiat from Latin, which means let it be, or so be it. It is nothing, sorry. It is nothing but an attempt to copy God's kun fayakun, thus challenging him. If God can create something out of nothing, we too can create something out of nothing. That's why the word riba is connected to the word rabb. There is linguistic connection. If Allah can create kun fayakun, I also can do. That's the meaning of fiat, kun fayakun. Who gives us the authority to do that? To create wealth out of nothing, to create value out of nothing. Seriously. That's why Allah wages war against the ribiters. It's not without reason, Allah wages war. فَأَذَنُوا بِحَرْبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. So anyone who consumes riba, Allah has waged war against us. That is why the economy is in this state today. Because Allah Himself has waged war against us. Now this is the devolution. I put here devolution, not evolution. People may look at it as evolution. It's devolution, regression. We started as promissory note, as explained by the professors before, doctors and professors before. Promissory note backed by gold. Number two, a process of unilateral devaluation leading to a complete devocation. This is during the example, during the Nixon shock. Not only happened during Nixon shock, one example, Nixon shock. Okay? You say your paper money can be redeemed with so and so much gold, but when people try to do that, they say, sorry, we don't have the gold. It's total khianat. Okay? Number three, a piece of paper not backed by any specie, whose legal value is determined by the compulsion of state law. This is the third stage. Now, where is the riba in the first stage? Riba in promissory note backed by gold or silver. The riba is in the hadith just now. In the hadith tentang sukuk in pasar al-jam. Okay? That means you are paying what you say as cash with credit. Saya bayar sekarang tapi sebenarnya duit tu duit promise. So, confusion is statement. You bayar sekarang, you bayar nanti. If you pay now, pay with cash. Pay the gold and silver. You don't say I pay now, but that paper itself is a promissory note. So there's an artificial delay in the payment already. If Muslims were to follow this hadith, we will be safe, inshallah. If only lah, but it has happened. Okay? We will be safe by Bretton Woods and Nixon shop. But we don't have a choice, we are forced to do it in that sense. This is the hadith. And then the second stage, a process of unilateral devaluation leading to a complete revocation. This is total khiyana. We don't have to say it's riba. It's khiyana. If you need a hukum for this, then I do not know. We don't need a hukum to say it's haram. Khiyana. And then the third stage, a piece of paper not backed by any specie whose legal value is determined by the compulsory state. This is a clear example of riba al-fadl. So where is the riba in fiat? Now, 5% interest haram? 10% interest haram? Which one is more haram? 50% interest or 5% interest haram? Both. What about 100% interest? Isn't fiat currency 100% interest? How come people can still ask, why is the riba in fiat currency? There is a total riba. You're creating something out of nothing. If I charge you interest 5%, you get angry. So I cannot do that. You don't work, you don't do anything, suddenly you get 5% profit. But when someone creates money out of nothing, oh, no riba. How is that? This is what Prof. Adi Setia said. Interesting, he said. If that creation of value out of nothing is not riba, then nothing is riba. If that is not riba, then nothing is riba. There is also riba nasa. Ada riba delay. Put your money to. That's why kita kena bayar zakat, isn't it? How you don't use your money, you have to pay zakat. You must put your money to use. Okay? And the riba nasa, why is it haram? So that credit money will not replace real money. When real money is put out of use, it will open the door to the craziest time and Nixon shocks now use. I do not know. I really believe that we need to touch the golden rule. There's something else when you buy and sell something, you put the coin in somebody's hand. Like what our brother Ali Ghazali said just now. He said, I do farming. I'm the first one to clap. You know why? Because he moved from haram riba to halal riba. Wow, riba got halal, sir. Yes, read the Quran. What did Allah say? الذين ينفقون في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة. When you plant a seed, it will grow to 70,000%. And that is halal. So when you farm, you see real interest happen. Real riba is halal and blessed by Allah. That is riba, but halal riba. We need to move to that. You want interest, you want riba halal, farming, legal production. Yeah. And then the last point, the solution is already present in the traditional faith. This is my opinion. You may call it absolutist, you may call it unacademic or something, but I believe we need to come back to our traditional faith. Okay? To our traditional forms, respect them and learn again about them. Okay? They have defined what money is, what is trading, what is debt. Okay? And then, what we need is a total redemption, a big heart, consistency and tawakkul. When paper money was first introduced, by the first person who introduced it, the whole world said that he's crazy. Do you agree? When everyone was using gold and silver, some babu, sorry to say that word, comes and say, let's use gold and paper lah. Imagine what people say to him. You are a fool, you're crazy, regressive, not regressive lah. You think people will fall to this trap? Everyone laughs at them. But they have a big heart. Even though with falsehood, they have a big heart. Right? He said, no, we will win. We will destroy the Muslims. We will fool the Muslims to use paper instead of gold and silver. Did they succeed? After how many years? Nearly 3 centuries. Are they patient? The most patient being on earth is Shaitan, after the prophets and the Awliya. And the cruel people, they are very patient. But we, whenever we bring this, what people will give what argument? Oh, this cannot work, this and that. Seriously. Seriously? If they can win with falsehood, we cannot win with truth. You may call it immature and regressive. Up to you, no problem. It's open for discussion. You can attack me outside. Okay? Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum.